serious. You did do
Welcome to the December Park and Rec meeting, and welcome to our lone visitor here. We have a young man in the audience. We have an agenda before us here. Is there a motion to amend it or to approve it?
I would make it a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. The minutes of November 14, 2017 have been sent to you. Any amendments, or are you ready to approve?
I make the motion we approve.
I'll second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. The department, November 17 department activity report. A couple things I noted on there was that the membership in Park and Rec continues to increase, and I also noted that the staff is meeting, I think it was bi-weekly or every 2 weeks now, and discussing renew projects. So that was kind of neat to see that. You know, it's going to be becoming real before too long. Are there any other observations that anybody has about the November activities report?
No.
If not, then they can be filed. Director Schmitz, could you give us a recap of the City Council meetings?
Certainly, thank you, Vice Chair Sled et al. And Commissioners. As usual, there were 2 City Council meetings since our last Commission meeting. November 21st saw the City Council declaring the sedan surplus, and they had the second reading and final adoption of the 2018 fee schedule. They accepted donations. They authorized the NRPA Fitness Instructor Training Grant application, and they authorized paying for heat and amending the leases for both Riverside Park Building and Kiesling House. The December 5th City Council meeting saw the City Council authorize in the Civic Center installing heating, ventilation, and air conditioning into the storage room and studying a potential New Ulm steel office addition and standing rail in the South Arena. And then they reversed the Park and Rec Commission's recommendation, which was to leave Lower Riverside Park as a nature area and reduced mowing area. The City Council has ordered the Park and Recreation Department to mow and maintain Lower Riverside Park from a groundskeeping standpoint, except for approximately 100-foot by 100-foot nature area that will probably be situated to the southern portion of that area. So we will be, moving in that direction certainly come springtime, or when if the water level is low at springtime. And then they had their annual Truth in Taxation budget hearing on December 5th after the City Council meeting. This was a little after 6 p.m., in which they reviewed the proposed and preliminary 2018 budget and had conducted the public hearing. And the City Council basically has agreed to some proposed changes, and we're expecting their final adoption at their next council meeting, which is a week from today, with an approximate 1.68% levy increase. Yeah, the final adoption will be expected on December 19th, 2017 at the council meeting. So that's what the City Council has reviewed over the past month related to Park and Rec.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Director Schmitz?
Did you have a good turnout at Truth in Taxation?
I would say there were very few citizens,
Okay, normal.
but there certainly was one citizen who spoke. Jim Jensen spoke on the retail development position that the city helps fund, and he was appreciative that the city council was planning to continue partially funding the retail
Oh, okay.
position that's housed out of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
But I don't recall any other significant citizen input at the budget hearing. Councilor Christian, do you?
No, none whatsoever.
Okay.
Okay.
Ours is tomorrow, so I was just curious.
Yes, Tuesday night at Brown County.
Thank you, Director Schmitz. Moving on into the old business and renew, would you have any updates perhaps, Director Schmitz? on
Yes. Thank you, Vice Chair Sledadal and Commissioners. You have in the packet, I think it's under Renew, which is page 8 of the 47-page PDF. I've included the actual legislation for you and the public to have handy. This was the omnibus tax bill that did not necessarily pass during the regular session, but did pass through the special session. House File Number 1. That's the first page, which is page 8 of the PDF. And then you have 2 more pages, page 9 and 10 of the PDF, which shows basically the original language back from 99 and 2000, along with changes that were authorized through the general election in 2016, and then legislative authorization came in 2017. That new language is underscored. So just wanted to make sure that you had a chance to have that. Of course, it's on the city website in the packet also. As you recall from our work session, it's been over a month ago now, City Council work session on Renew, and new information from our bond counsel and financial advisor that the City Council is pretty much authorized to kind of proceed how they see fit with new projects at their timeline, that whatever the City Council authorizes. And so we're expecting that. Staff is in kind of a final review situation, and we'll be presenting something to the City Council in the new year. I would imagine January or February at the latest, that there will be actual council action recommended to the City Council from staff on kind of the first package of projects and how to move forward with the first bond sale, sales tax bond sale. So that's about it, as far as new items related to Renew. I don't know if anyone has anything to add, or Councilor Christian has anything to add?
I mean, the good news is they discussed it in priority issue, how the council and Park and Rec will prioritize them, and the baseball thing, Brandon Johnson is, whichever way we shuffled them around, that held the number 1. Let's get it going. The RFPs, I believe, Tom, are being worked on, correct?
Yes.
So it's moving forward.
So RFPs are being worked on, and has there been any, it may be premature, but I'm just wondering, any discussion so far with vendors, suppliers at all, initially?
Well, since the election last November, we certainly have had firms contacting us, but we're not going to be reaching out to them until we have an RFP authorized by the City Council to solicit proposals for design services.
Okay.
And like I say, that should be coming in the first couple of months of the new year, I would anticipate. So then, as I think we all know, there's going to be multiple packages. I would imagine at least 3 groups of bond sales. And as Councilor Christian mentioned, we all know that Johnson Park is on a timeline. And we are also continuing to work with District 88 on the framework for the winter sports bubble, the winter sports dome up on their artificial turf field. And I'm also calling meetings together with the gymnastics communities, the 3 groups, Turner, Hall, and the New Almeria Gymnastics Academy, the association, and then also District 88 for the high school gymnastics program. Those 3 groups were pulling together to begin preliminary planning for the for the gymnastics center. So things are coming together, but, 2018 will be a big year for the design of the first package, and if things go quickly and smoothly, there could be some construction begun late in 2018.
Thank you for that Renew update. Also then, as another item in old business would be the 2018 budget. Director Schmitz.
Thank you, Vice Chair Sledadal and Commissioners. You have in the packet there the information that has also gone through the City Council, and that includes the Park and Recreation Department budget, pages 11, 12, and continuing on through the packet. I want to move towards, here we are, page 18 of 47 in the packet. These are some of the items that the City Council has really looked at closely as far as various components of the municipal budget, including our department budget. And I'll go down, really focus on the Park and Rec items. Harmon Park lighting, $50,000 is still in the budget, and that is to replace metal halide lighting at the hockey rinks and the sand volleyball courts with LED lighting. That's not to do Field 1, the big project. That was a $200,000 project. That one did not make it into the cut this year, or was cut. So LED lighting for the sand volleyball courts and the skating rinks. Shunlau Park figurines, another four figurines to be replaced and rebuilt in the Glockenspiel for $40,000. The Herman Heights retaining wall elimination for an estimated $200,000 is still in the budget. And again, the plan there is to eliminate the retaining walls in Herman Heights Park along Center Street and simply slope it so it can be maintained, and we don't have to worry about retaining wall maintenance. We'll either just be mowing it or it'll have ground cover, vegetative ground cover. Miller Park projects, we had $60,000 in the department requested budget, and that was cut in half down to $30,000. And that is to assist in funding a shade structure over part of the grandstand. So let's continue on now to page 19 of 47. These are continued to be in the budget. A hydraulic dump trailer for park maintenance at $8,200. A replacement pickup truck for $25,000. A floor scrubber replacement at Vogel Fieldhouse, $31,000. These are riding floor scrubbers. They're large machines, and they last probably about a decade, 8 years. And then a Civic Center floor scrubber, $6,000 replacement. And then the Fender Park improvements up on Fender Drive with the Milford Heights developments for housing. Fender Drive will be completed out to 7th North, and half of that stretch along Fender Park is assessed to the adjacent neighboring landowner, which is Fender Park. So that's you're aware of that, but that's about $150,000, of which a substantial amount of that will be funded through the Parkland Development, Parkland Dedication account. And then some continued improvements at North Park, including dugouts and backstop replacements. Master planning was reduced from a proposed $25,000 down to $15,000. And Fender Park is probably one of those parks that we'll be looking at a master plan in 2018. Tree replacements was reduced from $20,000 down to $10,000. Okay, so then we're on to page 20 of 47 in the packet, and these are the few items that were completely cut out of the budget at this point for 2018 by the City Council, and that includes replacing the controller at the Glockenspiel for $50,000, and the Harmon Park Field 1 lighting project for $200,000, and then our first proposed splash pad for $205,000. Those are three substantial projects that were removed from the proposed preliminary 2018 budget previously. So that's, the important thing to keep in mind is that we're continuing to focus on repairs and replacements of our existing system and not to add new facilities without new revenue. And the proposed budget at this point for next year also does not portray any reductions in revenues. We continue to bring in revenue, fees for services. In our budget is $3.5 million a year total, and we bring in about $1 million in fees and user fees, which is a pretty substantial amount. And we do not anticipate any staff layoffs with the budget for 2018 as proposed at this point. So that's really all I have to report on at this point, and I think it's a workable budget. I think we've got funds in there to continue operating and maintaining our vast and important system and continuing to serve all the different groups we have in the community.
Any questions to the budget? Thank you, Director Schmitz. New business item then would be donations. And Director Schmitz.
Thank you, Vice Chair Sledadall and Commissioners. I'll read into the record a number of donations that have been offered to the city over the past month for purposes administered by the Park and Recreation Department. And this first group of 8 different cash donations of $120 cash each are from Sven and Jean Elma, James and Janice Seifert, Dwayne and Diane Lombrecht, Mario and Christine D'Souza, Jay and Ellen Van Kira, Greg Thomas, Sanjay Mishra and Vanita Mishra, Robert and Gail Ranweiler. These donations, again, each of those groups were $120 cash for the German Park oak tree and stone marker honoring Richard Salvati. The next item is $100 cash from Lisa and Terry Kuck, and that will go towards a paver stone and improvements in German Park. And then for the dog park, specifically funding the water, drinking water system that was installed late this year here in 2017. $320 cash from Cashwise Liquor Store, and then $100 cash from Thomas Larson of North Mankato. That's an interesting donation. He comes over from North Mankato to utilize our dog park, and felt so inclined to offer $100 cash to the city for the dog park development. It's very nice letter from that gentleman. So I recommend you forward these on to the City Council for their acceptance. The grand total, $1,480 in cash donations over the past month for these determined uses.
Is there a motion to recommend forwarding these donations to the City Council?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to forward the donations to the City Council for acceptance. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. That leads us into the next item, and that would be election of of officers, chair and vice chair. Chair Fryer is not here today. He does have another year remaining to serve on the Park and Rec Commission. And from what I understand, he would certainly step aside if somebody else would like to step forward, but he is certainly willing to continue serving as the chair. So, with that in mind, is there a nomination for the position of chair?
I nominate Tony.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to nominate Toby Fryer. And do we have another motion, or do we have another nomination? Any more nominations? Okay, and then I'll call the question. All in favor of electing Toby Fryer to be chair of the Park and Rec for 2018, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, the motion's carried. I've chosen not to stand for election this year, and so the nominations are open then for the position of vice chair.
I nominate Chris to be vice chair.
I'll second
Second.
that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to have Chris Farwick be the vice chair. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of voting Chris Farwick as the vice chair for Park and Rec for 2018, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you. Pleasure to serve.
Thank you, and thank you for being willing to serve. Okay. Then we'd call on Director Schmitz for reports and updates. Director Schmitz.
Thank you, Vice Chair Sledadal and Commissioners. You have in the packet a list of projects that have been completed, other projects that are in process, as far as having purchase order issues and agreements with vendors. And then the final group is projects that are still in the planning phase. Let's see if I want to pull out any particular ones to highlight. I previously did just mention that the water was installed in the dog park this autumn, so that'll be greatly utilized in 2018. 4 of the figurines have been replaced in 2017 at the Glockenspiel, including the 3 wise men, and then the boy that's out there in the summertime with the plow, the farmer child. Let's see what else here is of special interest. We've made some improvements this autumn to the trap and skeet range, and others are still yet to be completed and will be so over the winter or spring. We're continuing to consummate leases with the putting green for the community garden operation and Riverside Park Building and the Kiesling House with those leasees. I'd like to again thank the Public Works Department, formerly known as the Street Department, for a lot of their assistance in projects this past autumn, including the base for the handicap parking at the dog park. We're beginning to prepare for a nice restroom to be established in the Riverside Park Building on the main level. That will be hopefully constructed over the winter. So other than that, I know we've got some, I'll go ahead and mention that we're beginning to work with an Eagle Scout candidate, Dylan Cotton, who is going to be working with us to install the first Gaga Ball pit in our community.
Can't wait to hear what that is.
Yes, and I don't have a way to portray that, But go on to YouTube or search the internet for Gaga Ball. And it's it can be indoors or outdoors. What we're planning to do is have it installed at Harmon Park near the playground. And the footprint is about a 20-foot square area. I think we're going to be planning an octagon with 8-foot sides that probably made out of wood. That'll be up about 4 feet tall. And it's a multi-generational game for all types of people. And there's a ball involved. And it's kind of like, it's not really like dodgeball. There are a number of different rules. Somewhat, you end up kind of leaving the game if the ball touches you. So it's a little bit similar to dodgeball, but it's a very active game. And I think, like I said, don't have a way to portray it here, but do an internet search. It's becoming very popular nationwide. So the next announcement I'd like to touch on, I'd like to maybe defer this to Assistant Director Corman to tell us about, I think we all realize that our chairman, Toby Fryer, is going to be receiving a state award, Minnesota Recreation and Park Association Award. And I think I'd like Cheryl to go ahead and explain some of that, please.
Thank you. The Minnesota Park and Recreation Association Award does professional awards and project awards. They're called Awards of Excellence, and our department has received several of them for various projects. The latest one was the Herman Project. But they also recognize individuals and award professional awards each year in January at the annual general meeting. And we nominated Toby, and Toby was selected. He's the only commissioner in the state that is getting recognized this year. And obviously it's, for his efforts and his service to the city. For those of you who maybe missed that on the activity report, it's mostly for his significant contributions to the betterment of the city. He continually advocates for improved health, wellness, and quality of life. The MRPA recognizes individuals and agencies for excellent, outstanding, or unique accomplishments, and he certainly is deserving of this award. They also give awards out in categories, in various categories, like the Clifton French Award is like a distinguished service award for a professional who's made significant contributions to MRPA and to their community over the years. There's some Horizon Awards are for like newcomers, up and coming. There's some professional awards. There's one awarded to a male and a female in different categories. And so, we're excited that Toby was selected. He certainly is very deserving of the award. This award and all the professional awards are given out at the annual meeting in January. If anybody is interested in attending that, you can talk to Tom or I after the meeting. But we look forward to him receiving this much-deserved award and recognition for his work.
And thank you and Tom for advancing his name and the efforts that he's put into that. We on Park and Rec, who've observed him, his leadership, we know how deserving he is of this. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, and I'll continue with a few more announcements here and items from the department, including the fact that our winter and spring activity and program brochure will be coming out soon. Actually, New Year's Eve, and registration begins on January 8th at 10 a.m. online or at the Recreation Center. So another season of activities and programs is at our doorstep. Also, the forecast was nice and cold previously for making ice at Harmon Park, and now all of a sudden it's warmed up. So we're making outdoor ice for skating at Harmon Park is pending some more cold weather. Finally, I'd just like to mention that the MRPA elections were just conducted, and I was nominated as president for MRPA, and the election forthcoming got me elected. So it's a 3-year term, and the first year is president-elect. So 2018, I will be the president-elect. 2019, I'll be the president, and then 2020, I'll be the past president of our state association. So that is another, good aspect, I think, for our community and our various programs. So finally, I'd like to, say thank you to a couple of commissioners that are completing some terms, and I know the mayor's here. So I would, Jean Prochnick is completing her second full term, 3-year term, 6 years on the commission. I would personally and professionally like to thank Jean for her service. And Karen Zongo's completing her first term and has decided not to continue on. And I appreciate Karen Zongo's service also the past 3 years. So thank you very much to you two past commissioners.
Now retired.
And I would like to call upon the mayor to speak a little bit about our gratitude towards your services.
Keep it nice.
I can get it back open again. And the check is in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
This is a little something for hopefully your wall. It says the Park and Recreation Commission presents this recognition award to Jean Prochniak for service to the community by serving on the commission as a member from January 2012 to December of 2017. And I have signed it, and New Ulm logo is on it, so this is for you.
Thank you. Truly has been a pleasure to serve. I certainly have learned a lot. We are blessed with excellent staff at Park and Rec. We've had great leadership. Mr. Thiesfeld, I'm forgetting his first name.
Yes.
Chairman Thiesfeld was a good leader for me to start, and Toby certainly has led us into the future, and you guys take us way into the future. Our projects that are pending are exciting. You'll have a lot of fun doing some design work and making some decisions for the city. So thank you for letting me serve. I appreciate it.
And thank you, Director Schmitz, for this year-end report.
Thank you.
Do any of the commissioners have any reports that they'd like to bring forward? Seeing none, that brings us to the end of our agenda. The next meeting will be January 8th, 2018, 4 p.m. at this location. Meeting is adjourned.